Hey there, Thalia Eagles. My name is Miss Arroyo. Welcome to anybody who's new to Thalia. But I'm going to, over the next 2 days, walk you through the steps for reading, taking notes, answering the activity questions, and submitting your Achieve3000 article. If you follow these steps, you will score 75% or higher on each article that you submit. So, in order to score 75% or higher on one article, because right now that's all we're asking, one article per week. Later on, it'll move to 2 articles, but right now it's about quality, not quantity. That means we want quality work. We want you to do well on one article per week, and then once we see that you can handle one article, we'll progress to 2 articles per week. But we do this through a 2-day process. So today is part 1 of that 2-day process. Right now we're looking at an article called Hard Road to Stardom, Physical Science Studies, Relationships of Force and Motion. So the title is Hard Road to Stardom. As always, you begin with the before reading poll. If you've never used Achieve3000 before, I'm going to explain each step. So the before reading poll gets you ready to read. This says, think about a basketball flying through the air. Gravity and air resistance are the only forces acting on the ball. Well, in this case, you need to use your background knowledge. Do gravity and air resistance are those the only forces acting on the ball? Do you agree or disagree? So you would select agree or disagree. Let's say I agree. Then you have to explain why you voted that way. We are using complete sentences. This is not texting. You're not chatting with a friend online. You are submitting this to your teacher. So you need to use proper grammar, capitalization, punctuation, and complete sentences. We will be checking for all of those things. This gets submitted so that I can see it and your teacher can see it when you're finished. So, think about a basketball flying through the air. Gravity and air resistance are the only forces acting on the ball. I could say I agree. I agree because gravity is pulling the ball towards the ground, and air resistance causes the ball to slow down. Now I'm going to submit. We received your vote. Thank you. You're welcome. Notice I used a complete sentence. I began with I agree because, and then I stated my reason. I have a capital letter at the beginning of my sentence. I use proper grammar and punctuation at the end of my sentence. Now I'm going to preview the vocabulary for the article before I read. Challenge, a hard problem. I could also click here and actually have the definitions read to me. College, noun, a place where people go to school after high school. Force, noun, a push or a pull, something that changes the motion of an object. You've been learning about force and push and pull since 1st grade. Immigrant, noun, a person who comes to a country to live. Net force, noun, the overall force acting on an object. Net force is when all of the forces acting on it are combined. Nutrition, noun, the eating of the right foods for health and well-being. Then racism, noun, the idea that one race of people is better than another. These are all important vocabulary words that you need to understand. While you're reading, you'll have the opportunity to click on the definition and have it reread to you if you can't remember what it means. If you don't understand the vocabulary, you're not going to understand the article. So the first tab was the before reading poll. Now I'm going to go to the article. So today while I'm reading, I'm going to fill in an organizer called the Fab 4 organizer. I'll go over the sections of the organizer in just a minute. But on day 1, as you read, you'll fill in the organizer. And then day 2, you'll be able to use the article and the organizer to help you answer the activity questions. This is what your Fab 4 organizer looks like. There are 4 sections: predict, clarify, question, and summarize. And I have the title, The Hard Road to Stardom. We're going to begin by going back to the article. We're going to look at the text features and read the first paragraph and use the first paragraph, the title, and the text features to make a prediction. Berkeley, California. Jorge Gutierrez still remembers the day he left Mexico at 15. That's when he came to the United States to begin a new life. Gutierrez remembers feeling frightened at the time. He knew the road ahead would be filled with challenges. Still, the teen had a dream. He wanted to play basketball. Now Gutierrez is 22 years old. He is a student at the University of California. He is living his dream as one of the hardest working players on the college team. That's the first paragraph of this article. I'm looking at the photograph. That must be Jorge Gutierrez in the photograph. Photo credit and all related images: Marcio Jose Sanchez, Associated Press. That's who took the photograph. The University of California's Jorge Gutierrez is known as one of the hardest working players in college basketball. There you go. That is what Jorge Gutierrez looks like. Let's see if there are any other text features. So I'm going to use what I read so far and the photograph and caption to make a prediction. Before I write out my prediction, let's review the type of language that good readers use when they're predicting. I can use clues from the text or illustrations to predict what will happen next. Support your prediction. I can begin my sentence with I think, state my prediction, and then because and my text evidence should follow. I'll bet, I suppose, I think I will learn. But no matter what, you have to include because. Why do you think that? What is your evidence from the text? Is it something that you read? Is it something that you saw in the photograph? Is it something you read? I think this article is going to be about the challenges I think this article is going to be about the challenges Jorge Gutierrez faced on the road to becoming an NBA player. I think this because title tells me Jorge had a difficult road to achieving his goal. It means he ran into struggles and hardship. I also read that he faced many challenges when he came to the United States from Mexico to start a new life. So there are two reasons or two pieces of evidence, text evidence, One, the title, and two, something I actually read in the first paragraph that support my prediction that this article is going to be about the challenges that Jorge Gutierrez faced. The next thing I need to do is type any questions that I have so far. So based on what I've read so far, I do have a couple questions. A few things that I wonder. I wonder what kind of challenges Jorge will face, and I wonder if anyone will help him on his journey to becoming a famous. So now it's time for me to continue reading to see if any of my questions are answered or if my prediction is correct. Gutierrez's journey began 7 years ago. That's when his parents dropped him off in Denver, Colorado. They signed the teen up at Lincoln High School. Gutierrez's parents then returned to Mexico. Gutierrez spoke Spanish, but he would have to get by speaking the very little English he knew. Still, his mind was set. He wanted to build a future in the U.S. He lived with 3 other teens from Mexico. I always think about my family, my mom. I cannot imagine how hard it was for her to let me go, said Gutierrez. Life in America was tough for Gutierrez and the 3 Mexican teens he lived with. Food often was scarce. When Gutierrez struggled to find the energy to get through games, it was discovered that he had anemia. Anemia is a condition that can develop from a lack of proper nutrition. So, I need something clarified here. It says that his parents dropped him off to live with a bunch of other teenagers? Were they living with a family in the United States, or were they all living together? It says he lived with 3 other teens from Mexico. Were they living by themselves? That would be a case where I need something clarified. So the clarify section on your Fab 4 organizer is for words you don't understand, which there aren't going to be many with Achieve because the definitions are right there. If you don't understand what a word means, you can click on the definition most of the time, and it'll be right there for you. So even if I don't know what the word anemia means, Achieve did a pretty good job at explaining that it means that you don't have enough nutrition. So that means they weren't eating the right things. What I also need clarified, or another reason why you would put something in the clarify box, is if you just don't understand what you've read. I don't understand how Jorge lived in America, in the United States, with 3 other teenagers, and his parents went back home to Mexico. Who were they living with? Who was taking care of them? So I need that part clarified. So I'm going to write, I'm confused about how Jorge and 3 teenagers took care of themselves while living alone in the United States. Maybe I'm wrong. That would be a question. Did Jorge and the other teens live with family in the United States? I don't know. So I'm going to continue reading to see if I can get clarity. That means I can clarify this and better understand. Gutierrez and his housemates also faced racism and claims that they were using fake birth certificates. Some people said that the boys shouldn't be allowed to play because they were Mexican immigrants. Now remember, immigrant means a person who comes to a country to live. The teens had the support of coaches, teachers, and the parents of classmates. Even so, the challenges were great. Still, Gutierrez and his housemates stood their ground, on the court and off. We wanted to prove something. It was about basketball. It wasn't about race, Gutierrez remembered. It was just kids playing basketball. We wanted to teach people that we are all equal and we were all playing for the same purpose, which was winning. Indeed, Gutierrez and his housemates proved important to their team. The teens helped lead Lincoln High to the state championship. These young men were so tough, said Lincoln coach Vince Valdez. After high school, Gutierrez landed at the University of California. Cal had found itself in need of someone to play the position of guard. Cal coach Mike Montgomery discovered that Gutierrez was available. Montgomery asked him to join the team. Gutierrez is a star guard for Cal. He has grown stronger each year through his challenging weight room program. He is known as one of the toughest, hardest working players in college basketball. Gutierrez was named Cal's top defender last season. He averaged a team-leading 14.6 points a game. Some say it's been years since Cal has had a player who works as hard and flies around the court with as much energy and speed as Gutierrez does. I've never seen a kid that will go to any length to win, whether it's being here or on his own or practicing 3 to 4 hours in a day, said Valdez. Montgomery agreed. He said that he's glad. So looking back at the Fab Four, I did not find the answer to my question, did Jorge and the other teens live with a family in the United States? Most likely they did, but it still was confusing to me how the article stated that he lived with 3 other teens and never said that they lived with a family. So sometimes you're going to put something in the clarify box and you're not going to understand it. You're still not going to understand it even when you're done or almost done reading the article. So if you're really curious about it, you could go research it in other ways. You didn't find it in this source, but maybe there's another article that could answer your questions. But so far my prediction is right, that this article is explaining the difficult road what Jorge faced and the other teens from Mexico. They were hungry, he was anemic, so he didn't have enough nutrition, and he didn't speak very much English, and they faced racism. That means people judged them for being from a different country, for being immigrants, and didn't give them a chance, didn't treat them equally the way that we should. My first question was, I wonder what kind of challenges Jorge will face. I learned about some of those challenges, and I wonder if anyone will help him on his journey to become a famous basketball player. I think his coach encouraged him in his journey so that he could become or continue to become a successful basketball player. So now I'm going to finish reading the article and see if I can add anything else to my Fab 4. But ultimately, when you're done reading the article, you do have to complete the summary section. We were stuck and needed somebody, Montgomery said. We took a chance, and it's paid off. Gutierrez says he is thankful Montgomery discovered him. He gave me a chance. That's all I needed, Gutierrez said. I'm big on saying I don't need easy, I need possible. Every day I keep pushing myself to play with the best in the world. Montgomery believes that very well could happen. I think Jorge has a chance to play in the NBA, the coach said. So now you do need to go to the next page for digging deeper. You don't have to take notes on this page, but you do need to read it. Now that I've read the entire article, I'm going to go summarize. You use your own words to tell the big important parts of what you've read. You could begin with the main idea of this article is, and then some details that support the main idea are, because this is nonfiction, you will want to talk about the main...
So here's my summary of the main idea and details of this article.
So the main idea of this article is Jorge Gutierrez faced many challenges on his journey to become a college basketball player. That's the part of my prediction that I need to revise. We don't know if he ever made it to the NBA. I could do further research to find out, but this article only says he made it to college, to Cal. And then I'm going to state some of the details that help me to determine the main idea. He moved to the United States. Really, he immigrated. The main idea of this article is Jorge Gutierrez faced many challenges on his journey to becoming a college basketball player. That's my main idea. Here are my details. He immigrated to the United States without his family. He spoke very little English. He didn't receive proper nutrition. He experienced racism for being from another country. So now that my Fab 4 is complete, I am done with Achieve for the day. I'm not going to answer the activity questions today. Tomorrow, I'm going to go back and read the article again. Then I'm going to use this, my Fab 4, my notes, and the article to help me answer the activity questions.